Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, everybody. I'd like to start by presenting to you the diabolical Ahmed Shah. How are you, Ahmed?
Alhamdulillah, how are you doing today, Ustad?
I'm doing good. Why don't you start by telling our audience a little bit about who you are?
Okay, so I'm from DFW. I live in Texas currently. I'm from Afghanistan. I'm 12 years old. I'm repping the Bayyinah merch, you already know. And yeah, I came here to, live stream
To
with you.
help me out, actually. So this week I tried to start a new project.
Mhm.
As you know, I put a question out to people around the world. You guys, like kids like yourself, are stuck at home most of the time with COVID-19, and we
Yeah.
don't know what to do with our time. So I figured we use this time to learn something about the Quran, or at least read and ponder, think about it, right? So I wanted kids like you
Yeah.
to think about the Quran all over the world. So I put a question out there about Surah Al-Asr, and I said, okay,
Mm.
well, I want parents and older brothers and whoever to go ask their children to read a translation or whatever they can find on Surah Al-Asr. Surah Al-Asr is surah number 103, and come up with whatever they thought about and whatever questions they had, right?
Mm.
And I put a
Yes.
deadline for Tuesday. So today's
Yeah.
Friday. That was 3 days ago. That was the deadline, right?
Hmm.
So Ahmed, we got like almost 600 emails,
Yeah.
and kids sent in like long essay answers. They hand wrote answers. They had their parents type up their answers for them. So there were lots and lots and lots of answers. And obviously, we can't go through all of them. So we're going to have about a 20, 30-minute conversation, you and I. And I picked out some of the questions, at least to start us off, that kids have sent from around the world. And your job, Ahmed, is going to be to read some of those questions to me. You have them with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now before we read them, I want you to tell the audience how you got to know me.
So how I got to know Ustad Nouman Ali Khan, funny story. About 2 years ago, he doesn't remember this, but I do because I'm a fanboy. I had came to this masjid because my dad heard that you have a masjid here by one of his friends, and then it was like Isha, it was Isha time, and so we had barely caught Isha, and when I met you, I gave you a handshake, and I went and told my dad I'm never washing my hand again, and then and then he came and told you, I'm never washing my hand again, right? And then you gave me another handshake, which was pretty epic.
And then you were part of the play, weren't you?
Yes, I was. What happened was I had came here for like the little Quran program, and then you
Yeah.
saw my great talent in talking. So you're like, why not make this handsome child the host? So and yeah, and
Yeah.
then
You were the host of the play.
yeah, it was
The
pretty
handsome
cool.
child. MashaAllah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course there's the villain you played in the other play,
Oh
which
yes,
we
that's
can't talk about that right now. It's
yes
classified, right?
exclusive.
Yeah. We might release the movie soon. We'll see.
Yes,
Okay,
inshallah.
so let's get started then. Why don't you read off the first question to me? And of course, you're going to tell me the person who sent the question to you
Okay.
and how old they are and where they wrote from, right? If they sent that
Okay.
information to us, we'd like to give them a shout out. Go
Yes,
ahead.
sir. Alright, so this one is from Zoya Ahmed. She is a girl and she is 11 years old and from Springfield, Illinois, USA. So she's in Illinois, which seems pretty cool. I've never been there, but who wouldn't want to go to Illinois?
I wouldn't, it's too cold. In the summer, it's nice, but it's crazy cold.
I love the snow.
Uh, okay. What's her
And
question? I mean, she wrote a lot, but we have to just to let the audience know, like, we're gonna take at least one or two questions from each of you that sent in, so that we get as many people in as possible and get their questions in as possible, right? So even though
yeah,
you wrote a lot, Zoya, we're gonna take at least one of your questions. Okay.
okay. So her question one was, why did Allah swear by Asr time? Why not Dhuhr or Maghrib? And her
Very good
second,
question.
yeah,
Then
and
let's
her,
just stick with that question.
okay.
And then we'll go to our second question. So, a lot of you sent that question. A few hundred of you actually sent that same question. Why did Allah use the word Asr? Why Asr, and isn't Asr one of the prayers? And why not any of the other prayers and things like that? So let me just tell you a couple of things about that, right? What do you know, like Ahmed? What do you know about the time of Asr? What does the outside look like?
Oh, outside is like, the sun is like midway. It's almost setting, but it's not like setting yet. It's like,
Right. So the sun is when the sun is like that, it's basically telling you the day's almost over,
Yeah.
right? When it's Maghrib, the day's already over,
Yeah.
right? And Asr is the day's almost over. So if you had to get something done during the day, this is basically your last chance to get it done,
Yeah.
right? So the point of swearing by Asr is Allah wants us to pay attention to Asr time and think about our life just like we think about Asr time. Just like Asr time, you got a little bit of daylight left to get something done. The same way, think of your whole life as you don't have a lot of time, even if you're a kid or you're an adult. Don't think like you have all the time and you can waste whatever time you want. Think of it like you don't have too much time and you got to make the most of it.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the reason. If it's Maghrib, then the time's already over. The day's already gone.
Yeah.
Right? So Asr is a pretty strategic, pretty important time to call
Yeah.
on. Now, the other important thing is when Allah swears by something, because people ask, why did Allah swear by time? Why not just mention time? Why swear by it, right? Because He says,
Yeah.
I swear by Asr time, or I swear by Asr. When Allah swears by something, that means that He wants your attention on it, which I already explained.
Yeah.
But the other thing it means is, whatever I'm about to tell you better happen real quick.
Yeah.
Because He swore by time, so whatever I'm about to tell you needs to happen in a very short amount of time. You need to take action quickly about whatever you learn. And the final thing is, when Allah swears by time, this is the harder one, but I'll try to make it simple for you. Whenever Allah swears by time, He's using it as a proof.
Yeah.
Okay, or swears by anything, He's using it as a proof. Like, for example, the proof that you are talking to me right now is that I can hear you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the next thing Allah is going to say is everybody is losing. Everybody's in loss, right? And then you say, well, what's the proof that I'm in loss? Somebody could say I'm getting richer and richer. What do you mean I'm in loss? Or somebody could say I'm stronger than I was before. I've been working out. I'm not in loss. I'm in gain,
Yeah.
right? But Allah says, no, every one of you is in loss. And then you have to ask, well, how can you prove that I'm in loss? And Allah says, I already proved it by swearing by what?
Asr time.
Asr time. Why? Because every one of you is losing time. With every breath we take, we have a little bit less life left.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, if you're rich or poor, whatever part of the world you live in, if you have money, you don't have money, you have health or don't have health, that doesn't matter. All of us are losing time all the same.
Yeah.
Right? And we don't have a lot of it left. So that's why the word asr was used. What's our other question?
Her second question is, why did Allah only mention human/insan? Why not jinn?
Because the Quran is primarily for human beings. Allah sent this for human beings. So that's why Allah sent a human prophet. And He wanted to give a message to humanity. And if you were a jinn, then Allah would give you guidance that is for jinns. And Allah gave this guidance for who?
Humans.
Human beings. So that's why Allah talks about human food. And Allah talks about human restrictions. And Allah talks about human times for prayer. And Allah talks about rivers and lakes and trees that human beings experience. Or He talks about farming or building ships and things like that. All the things that human beings do. That's why all the prophets He talks about are human beings. Because this book is for guiding human beings. Okay? Make sense?
Okay. Yes.
All right, we got somebody else?
Okay, yes. This is from Muhammad Zaid Khan. He is a boy and his age is 8.5 years.
8.5. That's
Yes.
what he wrote? 8.5?
Yes, he wrote 8.5. His he lives in Saudi Arabia in Jeddah, and that's pretty cool where he lives. Honestly, I'd love to live there.
Cool.
Yeah.
You've ever been there?
Yes, I have.
Didn't you go recently with your dad?
Yes, I went recently with my dad.
How was that?
It was amazing, alhamdulillah. It was a beautiful experience.
Did you see the big giant bike there?
What?
Did you see the big giant cars in the middle of the street and stuff?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Yes. It's
When I was
like here in
little,
Texas.
I don't know if they still have it. When I was little, when my dad used to take me to Jeddah, they had this like giant bike. It was like 4 stories. It was a big giant bicycle. And my uncle would play a trick on me, and he would say, that's Adam alayhi salam's bike. He used to be a giant. And I actually believed it until a very long time.
Really?
But anyway, how was Jeddah for you? What did you like about Jeddah?
I like their food, honestly. it was a different experience because their fast food is way better. Like I tried their McDonald's, and their McDonald's was like actual real food.
Okay, McDonald's.
Uh-huh. And then I had this like sick Turkish food. This Turkish food was so good. They spoke Farsi with us. So my dad, we were gonna go for our second umrah, and he said, "Give us something light." They gave us like a 3 foot plate, right? Filled to the brim with rice and chicken, and then they're like, "Hey, here, this is something light." I don't know how we finished it. It was like 3 people eating like 10 pounds of rice and chicken. So
That's pretty awesome. So,
yeah.
what's the question that Zaid Khan sent to you?
He said, he said, I find very hard to stay patient. What should I do?
That's a really good question. You find it very hard to stay patient. Well, patience is two things, and you didn't tell us, Zaid, what makes it hard for you to be patient. Maybe it's a brother or sister that really annoys you, and you just want to punch them in the face, or
Yeah,
maybe you're playing a video game and you can't beat a boss, and you want to throw the controller and smash the TV, or maybe you are, not you're trying to do your homework and you can't figure out this math problem and you want to set this textbook on fire. I don't know what is making you lose your patience. But the thing is, when it's okay, all of us get to a point sometimes when we are losing our patience, right? What
yeah,
Allah says in the surah is pretty awesome. We can learn something from that. He says, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. They advise each other to be patient. So it's good to find friends or family that that when you're losing your patience, when you're around them, they can make you calmer, and they can
yeah,
they can take your anger or your temper and they can bring it down. Right? There are some things you can do for yourself. If you're getting upset, you can just go make wudu.
yeah,
Right? You can just wash up, and then that your anger will come. Literally, it's like cooling a fire, putting water on yourself. Right? There's a
yeah,
fire feeling inside you, and you can cool it off. But
yeah,
it's also really important to have people in your life that can, just being around them will make you more calm. And that's actually in the Quran too. Like Musa alayhi salam used to have a pretty bad temper. He used to get pretty upset, and his brother Harun would be someone who would make him calm. Right? And at the end of Surah Al-Asr, those you guys read it because that was your assignment. They advise each other to be patient. They counsel each other to be patient. So you find somebody in your life that can help you become more patient also, and you do whatever you can to get out of that situation that makes you upset. Also, the
yeah.
last thing I'll say about that is, yeah, by the way, Ahmed, when do you lose patience?
When I lose patience, it's whenever I'm in an arenas match with the homies. We just chilling
What's up?
up,
What's up? I'm not
arenas
aware.
match. So, I'm pretty sure Muhammad Zaid Khan, this the homie right here, he's 8 years old, so I guarantee he knows what Fortnite is. So,
Okay.
so we be running a Fortnite squad with the homies, Sammy and Ahmed, and these three sweats roll up on us. They just
What's a sweat? Help
I
me
s
out.
okay. So this sweat, right? He plays the
I know
game
about the
non.
roll up on us. I don't know about the sweat. So three sweats roll up on us.
I These people, right? They have grinded this game since day one. They pay like creative is like for like you to trade, right? They play creative 3 hours a day, right? Just as a warm up, and then they go
That's
into these matches and just destroy. Like you're having a good time, just chilling with the homies. They just destroy your mood. Like you just want to like just grab your controller and just like take your PlayStation and just throw it out the window. Like it
because they're
boils.
so annoyingly good.
Yes, that's literally it. They're
That's
just
what
too good.
they're called sweats.
Yeah, they're called sweats.
I need to learn so much from you. So much.
Hey, we could be like trades. Like we could like trade knowledge. Like you teach me Arabic, I teach you how what the gaming community is.
And the lingo, the gaming lingo, like these
Yeah.
sweats roll up on us, and
hmm
I was chilling with my homies, and these sweats rolled up, and
They just
like,
destroyed us and just left us there.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, well, if you lose patience, what should you do?
So I lock myself from society because I'm gonna just start yelling at every because like once I'm mad, I only have a short fuse till I just start like yelling. So I just lock myself in my room and watch some YouTube.
Well, let's change that a little bit. Next time you lose your temper, put the game on pause. Go do what?
Wudu.
Go make wudu.
Yeah.
Yeah. And be a better sport. You know what? These guys want to play. At the end of the day, it's just a game, right?
Yeah, it's just a
So
game.
yeah, I get worked up when I play games sometimes too. Oh my god, I
Yeah.
get worked up. But at the end of it all, I'm not gonna let it. I can get excited, but I won't get upset.
Yeah.
Right?
You know.
And a lot of times when you play games like kids play big, sports outside like basketball and stuff like that,
Yeah.
or ping pong, or you're playing video games and there's a lot of trash talk, right? Because you got those headphones on and people are like, "What happened? What happened? You can't get me? Oh, you're getting shot from the back? Oh, you died? You died again? Oh, it's
Yeah.
okay." Because when I had the game night with you guys, I was trash talking with you guys too.
Yes, you were.
I'm
You're.
gonna,
You
I'm gonna
know.
punch you in the face right now. Hold on. Did you get punched in the
You're
face?
bullying us.
Right? So
Yeah.
you know why? Because I want you to learn something. Some things are worth getting upset over,
Yeah.
and most things are not worth getting upset over.
Yeah. You know.
Right? So when you're losing in a game, and when you're whether it's these kinds of events, like somebody's trying to rile you up or get you upset,
Yeah.
all you can do, how amazing it would be if you lost to somebody that's like, that was good, bro. That
GG.
was pretty
GG,
good.
man.
That's it. There's nothing wrong with someone better than you. They crushed
Yeah.
you, and it's fine. When I play here, you guys play ping pong with me here, I crush all of you, right?
Um. Technically, I mean, not all the time,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
okay. Yes, you beat us every time.
But then I go play with somebody else, and they destroy me, like they wreck me, and I love it because first of all, I get to play with somebody better,
And you get
and
better.
it's not upsetting to me. It's upsetting to me. The only thing upsetting would be if something actually wrong happened, because at the end of that game, I'm still fine. I still have food. I still have a roof over my head. Life is still okay.
Yeah.
Right? That whole thing is a game. It's virtual. So don't let that get you so emotional that you start losing patience. Right?
Yeah.
The same. So that's with games. But then with other things, like sometimes you just are so used to fighting with your brother or your sister, or you're so
Yes.
used to thinking that every time mom says something, she's gonna yell at me. So even when she's not yelling at you, you're like, I can't.
Yeah.
So you have to deprogram that from yourself. And if somebody is getting out of line and they are saying upsetting things, then you can say, that's hurting my feelings. Or you know what? I'm not going to have this conversation with a sibling at least. I don't want to have this conversation. I don't want to be talked to that way. It's okay to draw some certain lines. And with parents, if they are upset with you, then you can come and say, I'm sorry. Or you can say, what can I do to make things better?
Yeah.
So you could take things that would otherwise make you upset and shut down and lock your doors and cut yourself off from society and turn it in a different direction. Turn it in a positive.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, let's go on. What do we got?
All right. The next one is from Harun Qazi. This is a boy, and he is 9 years old. So I guarantee you, he feels the struggle on Fortnite.
Okay.
With everybody else. And he's from Houston, Texas, so he lives down here with us. And he had 2 questions.
We're not from Houston, Texas.
Okay, we're in Dallas.
Okay. Careful now.
Okay. He had 2 questions, Ustad. One of them is, or the first one is, why is it important to save others in order to save yourself? That's a pretty deep one. And then the second one is, how can you save yourself and others on time? That's pretty deep.
Wow, those are pretty deep questions. Why is it important to save others in order to save yourself? Well, see, the thing is, whatever I'm trying to teach you, I'm trying to figure out how Allah is teaching us some of these things. Like, how is Allah answering that question for us? What seems to be the case, when I tried to study Surah Al-Asr a long time ago, like I asked you guys to read a translation of it, right?
Yeah.
When I first studied Surah Al-Asr, I think I spent maybe 20 or 30 hours just studying Surah Al-Asr. Like I studied a lot of different scholars about it, read a lot about it, listened to a lot of lectures about it, because you know why? Because Surah Al-Asr, according to one of the biggest Quran teachers, was actually, because it's so short, right? It's just 3 lines.
Yeah.
It's the summary of the entire Quran.
Wow.
Like I want you to think of it like, you know how there's a seed and the seed eventually turns into a whole tree?
Yeah.
If you think of the Quran like a tree, Surah Al-Asr is the seed. So if you properly understand it, then everything in the Quran is connected to Surah Al-Asr. Just like everything in the tree goes back to the seed.
Seed.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's why it was so important for me to understand, even though it's so short, it's so simple, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't even remember. I think it was like 15 years ago I gave a lecture about Surah Al-Asr.
Mm.
I'm really old. So when I studied it and I gave a lecture about it, I think the lecture was maybe 4 or 6 hours long. Like a whole week, the series was about Surah Al-Asr,
Mhm.
right? And I put it on podcasts and stuff. The thing is, the question is, and because of that study, I know some things about that surah, so I'm going to use that to answer this question. Why
Okay.
is it important to save others in order to save
Save
yourself?
yourselves.
Now, you would think, okay, if Allah wants someone to go to heaven, and Allah wants somebody to be successful, they should just believe, they should have faith, obviously, and they should do good things,
Yeah.
right? But in this surah, he didn't just say they should believe and do good things. He said they should believe and do good things, and they should also tell each other or counsel each other towards the truth.
Yeah.
And they should also counsel each other towards patience. Now, if you
Patience.
lived on an island by yourself, Ahmed Shah, and no one else around, can you counsel somebody else to the truth?
Nah.
No. But if you live with your family, can you counsel somebody else to the truth?
Yes.
Yeah, you can counsel your brother, your mom, they can counsel you,
Yeah.
right? Here's what you should do. Here's good advice. You can give each other advice, right?
Yeah.
Don't you from the time you grew up, isn't it the case that you have helped some others and others have helped you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Human beings help each other all the time, don't they?
Mhm.
If that didn't happen, we wouldn't survive as humanity,
We would. Yeah, you're
right?
right.
And so Allah is telling us you can't be successful until you give each other the best kind of help. And the best kind of help is to tell or to encourage each other to stay truthful, to
Yeah.
stay honest, to stay committed to what Allah has given us as the truth, to do the right thing. And that's the best kind of advice. Just like, I wouldn't be able to learn anything about technology if I didn't go to college and a teacher didn't help me, other students didn't help me. Sometimes I helped them. You
Yeah.
couldn't get food from a restaurant if the person cooking didn't help you cook the food because you don't cook it yourself.
Yeah.
They couldn't cook the food if the delivery driver didn't help deliver the food.
Mhm.
The delivery driver wouldn't have nothing to pick up if the farm didn't deliver or didn't produce the food to begin with.
Yeah.
So human beings can't survive until they help each other, right?
Yeah.
Allah is saying, yeah, you help each other when it comes to food, when it comes to construction, when it comes to roads, when it comes to everything in life. You help each other. But the most important help that you must give each other in order to not be failures is that you have to help each other be truthful.
Yeah.
And then sometimes being truthful can be really hard. And that's when you have to help each other stay patient. Because staying truthful can be pretty tiring and can be scary too. And that's when you need to be strong. And that's why with Allah is sabr. And so that's why you can't even, and Allah is telling us we're not strong enough to do that ourselves. Sometimes you need somebody else to tell you to calm down.
Yeah.
Or you need somebody else to say, hey, no, that wasn't right. Or you need to do better. You need that. Like if our parents didn't guide us when we were little, or if our teachers didn't guide us, just like, in a class, Ahmed, if you were doing a math problem and you were doing it wrong, and your teacher didn't guide you to what's true,
Yeah.
you would keep failing.
I would. That's right.
Right? So they have to fix it so that you can get better. So that's that's to save yourself. And then how can you save yourself and others on time? That's a pretty cool question too. The thing with on time is Allah didn't tell us how much time we got.
Yeah.
I don't know when I'm gonna die. I don't know what my day is gonna be like. I don't know what the rest of today's gonna be like. I don't know what tomorrow's gonna be like. So don't worry about the on time. Just when you have a good opportunity to share something good with somebody, do it.
Don't
Right?
hold back.
Don't hold back. Don't say, oh, maybe I shouldn't talk about that now. But you should be smart about what you're saying when you say it.
Yeah.
But don't worry about feeling like, oh my God, I better tell everybody everything right now. You gotta chill out.
Yeah.
Take it easy. Okay, just a couple more questions. Come on.
Okay.
Let's go.
So the next question is from Dawood Sajid. He is also 9, so I feel like he knows the struggle on Fortnite with everybody else and the V-Bucks.
Man, the struggle with Fortnite has really hit you hard in life.
Only in quarantine. Only in quarantine.
Okay.
And so he actually had a question of why does Allah make things easy like believing in Him and doing good, but still so many people don't believe in Allah and do good.
I'll just explain this to you by way of an example, Ahmed. I want
Okay.
you to understand this too, not just Dawood Sajid, right? Um, the thing is, you're in school,
Mhm.
everybody gets the same assignment, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you got a different homework than somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Is it true that sometimes the homework is pretty easy and you still don't do it?
Yes.
I know I put you on the spot. Sometimes just because something is easy and you know something is right,
Mhm.
maybe laziness gets in the way.
It
Maybe
does.
distraction gets in the way. Maybe you just want to be bad and you know that's Mustafa's cookie in the fridge. You know it, but you still just, you know what?
You know.
I'll take the chance. I'll take my chances,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you know you have to, or there's a test coming and you think you got, like, its test is on like next Fridays. Yeah, I got 7 days. I got 5 days. I got so much time. That's
Because
today's Wednesday. Oh, I got two more days. That's like 48 hours. I got so much time. Thursday, I still got 12 hours before the test starts. I'm just not gonna sleep tonight. People feel like they have what?
time.
Time until it's too late and like, oh my god, I didn't study for the test. So when Dawood asked, how come so many people don't believe in Allah and do good if it's so easy? Because they feel like they have time still. They feel like they
Yeah.
could just do it later. Right now, let them have a little fun, let them disobey Allah, and later on we could just, we could be good later on.
Yeah.
And you know what? What is this surah telling us? Do you have a lot of time or no?
No, you don't have that much time. You only got a few. You
By
know.
using wal asr, right?
Yeah.
So he's actually, Allah is answering this question for Dawood in the surah.
Yeah.
This is why people don't believe in Allah and do good, because they feel like they are in charge and they have all the time in the world.
Yeah. When they really
Okay?
don't.
All right.
Okay. Next question.
Hmm.
And this is the last question. So this is a
Oh, this kind of
very.
questions are thoughts, aren't they?
Oh yes, they are thoughts.
Okay, so who sent us these thoughts?
This is first name Manal Basuliman. She is a
Okay.
this is a girl, and she is from the United States. She lives in Virginia. One of my friends is actually from Virginia, I think. Uh, and her thoughts were everything is affected by time except Allah Subhanahu wa Taala.
What do you think
Her
she meant
sec
by that?
uh, I think she meant like, is everything affected by time except Allah?
What do you think about it?
Oh, what I think,
Hmm.
I think she's telling like, Allah is the only one that can't get affected by time, and like, He has more time than all of us, so we should
He
like,
owns time.
what?
He owns time.
Yeah, he owns time,
Hmm.
and you know that we should like, or that we get affected more than he will ever do, because nothing affects him because he's Subhanahu wa Taala.
Yes, excellent. Okay, what's the second one?
The second one is everything will come to an end, just like people before us. We shall end too.
Hmm.
I feel like this one. Do you want me to, or you
Yeah,
go?
yeah.
So I feel like what she was telling, what she was saying in this is, don't waste your time. You're gonna eventually come to an end as the people before us, and don't take like your time for granted. Do as much good as you can, I guess.
Excellent.
The third one, everybody will. Mine is in gray and black and gray, so it's kind
Everybody
of
will lose.
everybody will lose except those. Oh, this is hard to read. My bad. I'm sorry. This is
Okay, I'll try to read this one because I know it's blurry. Everyone will lose except those who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do good deeds, and people who are patient.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's saying he's basically saying you could think that you're winning in everything, but you're
Yeah.
still going to be a loser if you don't have this,
Yeah.
right? So that's a
Mhm.
pretty good start to the first round of questions. There's some other questions that are coming, inshallah. There's some really interesting questions that some of you older
Inshallah.
kids asked also. But this is a good start to our series on, getting some of these questions that you kids asked from all over the world started. Thank you so much, Ahmed,
Yeah.
for
So
being a part of this. I really
thank
enjoyed
you for
having you
having me.
on. And my fortnight advice to you is don't waste your day on it. You can play a little bit, but have a schedule, because the whole point of Surah Al-Asr is what?
So not waste your time.
Right. So just let's try to wind that down to a certain amount of time and think about what you can do with the rest of your time that can make, even when you're in quarantine, you're stuck at home or whatever, what can you do to actually be productive? So maybe we'll talk about that in a future session some more too, okay?
Inshallah.
Barakallahu lakum. Shout out to everybody. Thank you for all the kids that sent us an email. Inshallah, we'll have another session discussing some more of your questions. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.